Seth Kaufman, the famous and infamous. Welcome to Dash's Breaking Ground podcast. I greatly appreciate your time, Seth. I know you're one of the busiest real estate executives in town. So let's just get it going. A little bit of background. I know you didn't start your career in real estate. Give us a little bit of a background on where it all did start.
Sure. So great to be here, Len. This is really thanks for the invite. It's always great catching up with you, and proud to be a part of this. So I think, as you know, I started my career in education. I was an elementary school teacher with an emphasis in special education for a couple of years. I got my degree from West Virginia University. Shortly after that, it was either go back to New York, probably move into Manhattan, or make a big life change. So that life change happened. My identical twin brother, and myself moved down to Florida, and we both taught. We were both teachers. We both started our career in education. I started my career in a private elementary school in North Fort Lauderdale, and my brother started in high school. So we did teaching for a couple of years. I then transitioned into the public schools from a private school and taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, special ed, every subject, same group of kids all day. Not the easiest of jobs. I totally respect the education field. And after a couple of years of doing that, I needed a change. And lucky for me, everyone gets a break at some point in their lives. My uncle was at the time a very influential person in the real estate industry, and had a sales and marketing company, and said, go get your license and then come work for me at a very, very well-known sales and marketing organization. So I did that, and I started working for my uncle at this sales and marketing organization. And it's been quite a ride from there. Really an incredible amount of time. I think I started in real estate in 1997. So a long time, 26 years. Yeah.
You're referring to you're referring to Jerry, correct?
Correct, Jerry Kaufman. Yep. And he started ISG, and started with Phil and Craig, and built ISG. He was probably one of the pioneers when it came to development, sales, and marketing. Yep. So I got my feet wet in development, sales, and marketing, and did several jobs with ISG over the years, up and down the East Coast of Florida, and learned a lot, interacted with a lot of top developers, built great foundational relationships with people in all aspects of our industry, and it's really set the tone for where I'm at today. But I had a great time doing that.
So the tone for today is that you're the chief sales officer at One Sotheby's, which is one of the more formidable brokerage firms in town, and growing beyond South Florida and growing exponentially. Actually, I think I read 27 offices and over 1,300 agents that you have in the organization now.
Yeah, we're actually larger than that. We are about 31 offices, going on 32 offices, from South Miami all the way up to Amelia Island, just north of Jacksonville. So we run the entire East Coast of Florida with 31 offices and over 1,300 agents under One Sotheby's.
Seth, I remember Mai, the founder and chairman of One Sotheby's, way back when, and I think that I first met her when she was selling single-family homes, expensive ones, large ones, in the south area of town. Coral Gables, I believe, is that about right?
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Yeah, she had a small company at the time, and then built this animal in One Sotheby's. She's done an incredible job, and to say I respect Maya and everything she's done would be the understatement of my lifetime. She has built an incredible company, and company to me is not just size and market share. It's a lot more. It's the culture, and that all starts from the top, as we know. And she has built, together with her son Daniel, have built an incredible company, all about culture, serving our agents and taking care of our customers.
Yeah, it has one of the best reputations, certainly in South Florida, as you indicate, growing to the entire East Coast. I want to go back a little bit because the position that you have now, responsible for over 1,300 agents in the organization, and the early part of your career in education, how would you assess the similarities of the teacher role, the mentor role, the counselor role? You can't have that many people within your sphere of influence and not be doing something rather right. How did you
Yeah,
bring that to your current career?
I think being in education really gives you an understanding of the psychology of people, whether it's starting from a young age or working with people that are older and more professional. Um, Psychology definitely plays an aspect of that. There's so many factors that relate to teaching, being in front of groups and having to add value on a consistent basis to those that you are in front of is probably the most important thing for me. I come from the school of John Maxwell. I'm a certified speaker trainer coach of John Maxwell. And to me, it's all about adding value. So when you're able to add value to somebody, it could be a single person or it could be many, um, people are going to listen and people are going to want to learn and people are going to respect you and people are going to want to be around you. And then to increase your viability in the marketplace, let's say as an agent, you just want to increase that value to more people, right? And add value to as many possible people as you can. And that's how you increase your business. And that's how I increase mine. And learning about the business and helping people put more money in their pocket and be better at what they do helps everyone.
So I can't help but imagine what your day is like, and it probably starts very early morning and ends very late at night. I know you're a family man, married,
Yep.
children,
Yep.
all of that, and that's an important component I know in your life. But running over 30 plus offices and all those agents, how do you allocate certain areas of time and certain priorities in the course of the day?
A good assistant for sure. A good assistant for sure. And let me backtrack because my wife would kill me if I didn't say her first. So a great understanding wife, and my wife happens to be in the industry as well as you know, so she
That's
understands
right.
better than anyone what the day to day looks like for me. But yeah, starting really early. We have a 10-year-old daughter. She's in fifth grade, so my day starts around 5:30. I always like getting up early, but my day starts around 5:30, where I'll wake up my daughter, wait for my wife to get ready, she takes over that responsibility with my daughter at some point, and then I race out and either go on a very long walk, about 5 miles, and I always listen to either podcasts or audiobooks on these walks,
Yeah.
or I'm at the gym by 6:30 in the morning, and then I'm there for about an hour and a half. I do my thing. I have a routine when it comes to the gym with weights and sauna, uh, and then I race back home, jump in the shower, get ready for my day, and some days I could be working remote at the house in my office where I'm on the phone all day or on Zooms all day or doing podcasts or leading company initiatives. Or I'm going to an office like today. I'm in the Coral Gables office, actually,
Yeah.
or I might be in Jacksonville sometimes. So it just depends on the
It's
day, the week, and what we're doing in the company.
Sure. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is really going on in the Florida marketplace today? Do you still Are you still experiencing with up and down the state, um, the continuing interest from um, outsiders moving down, immigrating to Florida for whether it's tax reasons or health reasons or a whole host of other decisions, lifestyle decisions? Are you still seeing?
Listen, I think
What is going on?
yeah, and I think that we've all seen it, regardless if you're development sales or general real estate. We all saw the boom post COVID, um, where people were working remote and they could work from anywhere. So why not work from East Coast Florida or Florida for that matter? So we saw an influx of people greater than we've ever seen come to the state and look for primary residences, second homes. That definitely waned a little bit, but the desire for South Florida and Florida in general will always be there. People want to be here. There's still 1,200 people a day moving to the state of Florida, 2/3 of which are South Florida, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So the influx of people will always be here. Why not? I mean, the tax benefits that we have, the weather that we have, the security, the schools, which are starting to change for the better in Florida, are a big draw. But the overall climate is a huge draw. So we are still seeing a lot of people moving to the state, moving to the area. It definitely waned a little bit, so the demand is not as high. And what's happening in the environment right now with interest rates are certainly playing a factor. Uncertainty on a global scale, what's happening in the world, unfortunately, plays a factor. But
Do
Florida
you
will always be
believe
desirable.
do you believe that in certain eras, the American dream had a lot to do with pursuing your career, owning a home? Um, do you see that in this, let's call it this new era of home buyers, the same focus on home ownership when home ownership is challenging, as you say, given interest rates, and the other side of it is that rental rates have increased considerably as well in Florida.
Yeah, there's
Are you
no
seeing
doubt.
that kind of? Are you seeing the passion? Are you seeing the passion for ownership?
We still are 100%, and ownership in many forms. Maybe that's investment opportunities, the primary residence, secondary residence, and many of these people we deal with on a daily basis have 5, 10, 15 homes around the world. So that's not changing, and I don't think that will ever change. It is still the American dream to own a home or multiple homes. People like the flexibility and the ability to be where they want to be when they want to be there. And there's a lot of variables when it comes to rentals, as we know: price fluctuations, availability, conversions. There's so many variables. The demand is always going to be high for rentals as well, and maybe the building you want to rent in is just you're outpriced for you, or just can't get into that building. So I think that the home ownership question is a valid one, but it will always be there. The American dream will always be: I want to build a family. I want to buy a home. I want to raise my kids in my primary residence.
Tell me about with so many external forces that are going on in the world today. How do you deal with adversity in your life and in business? I mean, there's so many forces in all of our lives, individually, collectively, career, home, family, on and on and on. How do you personally handle the the curveball of life now and the balance between work and home?
It's a great question, Lynn, and I think for us all, I think, and I talk to my wife a lot about this, and being grateful and having gratitude, and really, I know I can speak for you and probably most of your audience when I say that we probably are not as grateful as we should be for what we have in our life, right? Whether it's your health, overall happiness, your family, your primary residence, even your rental, your bike or your car. There's so much to be grateful for in life. And I think if we really examine our lives and realize that we're better off than most people in this world, and we're blessed to have what we have, I think then you start looking at yourself and start saying, you know what, it's not as bad as I make it out to be sometimes. You take a deep breath and you think about that, and you think about what other people are going through now in the Middle East, and what's happening there. It's sad, and it really makes you look at yourself saying, what do I really have to complain about? Do I face everyday challenges? Do I face financial challenges? Do I face family challenges? Do I face agent challenges? Of course, of course, all the time. But I'm looking outside, and it's 72 degrees and sunny,
Yes.
and I'm getting here an hour to spend with you, my good friend Len Dugal. And how bad can life be?
Isn't that nice? That's a nice sentiment. How would you describe your why? The essence of Seth Kaufman.
I love helping people succeed. I love watching people do better, do more, do greater things. If I can give my advice, my input, my observations, and just help someone close another deal or help a company do better or make someone feel better about themselves, that does wonders for my psyche. I really enjoy helping people. And I think that's why, my mom was a teacher and that's how I got into education. I think that's why I started there. And I really enjoy helping people. I love watching people's success.
Well, you're in the right position to fulfill the why of you. Let me pivot a little bit here, Seth, and talk about tools that you and your minion kind of work with today, as far as accessing information, content, which is so if you're it's so challenging today.
Sure.
Part of the whole proposition of Dash had to do with the essence that we came to learn through many, many, many interviews how complicated and hard it is for everyday agent to go out and get accurate and up to date content. But I'm curious as to the advice that you give and share with your associates at One Sotheby's.
It's not a perfect science when it comes to this business, right? And it takes a lot of work. There's an overall feeling amongst a lot of people out there that, hey, I'll just get my real estate license and I'll make millions of dollars because my friends want to buy or my family wants to sell property, around Florida or around the world for that matter. And it's laughable because this is a business and those that treat it as a business are the ones that ultimately succeed because it does take a lot of work. It's not an easy job. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to be armed. You have to have the right backing. Not just my company. Sotheby's is a great name in the industry. I think it's the best company in the industry. But there are a lot of great companies out there. Every company has benefits to it. But you have to put the work in. You have to know your areas. You have to know your buildings. You have to know your floor plans. You have to know who you're talking to. Like when we get into Dash and the on-site people and building relationships with the builders and developers and the on-site people is very important, and building a good name in the industry is key. There are a lot of people I've encountered over the years that, see an opportunity to grab some money, make a quick deal at the expense of others. And then they get a bad name in the industry. And for what? I have no idea. But it's very important to be a pro in this business because that's going to help you last.
Yeah, that's what we were trying. What we're about doing at Dash now is to create something that heretofore has been always a problem, which is transparency. Meaning, you would imagine that developers and brokerage firms and agents would all be aligned in terms of their objectives, and that developers building credible and exciting residential opportunities, brokerage firms serving up that content, and then agents grabbing it, and then everybody is moving in the same direction. And yet, what's happened over the last handful of years is that everybody's working in silos. It's not as transparent as it should be, and part of what Dash is, the essence of Dash, is to provide content that is given to us by developers, so it's up to date and it's accurate. Instead of, we know in this business so much, I don't know, fake news or fake information runs rampant, and there's no way of kind of understanding what's real and what's not real. And what drives agents crazy is kind of validating that content. We hear, and we've come to learn over and over, that agents' time is so valuable, and they're just trying to put in a hard day's work, as you say, learn their business, know the products, and offer that up to prospects and clients in a way that is digestible, accurate, and efficient. Why isn't that happening as much as it should be happening? You would think on a very, very general and easy narrative to follow.
I think, first of all, I think the most successful agents, the agents that do the best in this business, know how to delegate, right? And they know that their time is valuable and they need to focus on money making activities. So if I could delegate certain things like to an assistant or use certain tools to take the time that is valuable to me away and put my focus where it should be, is crucial in this business. And Dash, your app does just that. I mean, that's giving every single agent the ability to flush out and find truthful, accurate information at the open of an app is exactly what every agent should be looking for. Because there's a lot, there's a lot of, look, I know how it is for my agents, and they use me as a resource because I am connected to so many developers and so many on-site agents. But for agents to connect with an on-site person, or to find the right floor plan, or to find general information without going to another brokerage's or broker's website, and you don't know what you're getting, how accurate that information is a challenge. And Dash solves that for sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you the following question. I've read this quote recently, which I'm curious in terms of your response. So, life's not about what happens to you. Life's about how you respond to what's happened to you. How would you frame an example in the business, some important moment, important lesson that was learned that you've been able to take with you through your career?
Listen, we all get knocked down. I don't care if it's business, a personal life, professional life, it doesn't matter. We all get knocked down. It's how you respond. And I always say, to people that will listen, is focus on what you can control and avoid what you can't control. Things are going to happen. And it's how you react. How do I get up after all these punches and keep moving forward? The most successful businesses, the most successful business people have been knocked down numerous times, but they keep getting up and they make themselves better. And the next iteration of them is a better version, right? So 2007, we were doing a project in Doral, and I was the sales director of that project. It was a condo hotel, and the market was on fire, as we all know. 2005, 2006, it didn't matter. People were online. Remember, Len? People are online for 2 hours at condos waiting to buy a unit. Oh my God, I'm lucky enough to spend $750,000 or $1.2 million to buy this condo. Thank you. Crazy times. And we were flying high at this project. We were doing really well right on the Blue Monster in Doral. And then it's like the rug got pulled out from us. We sold about 90% of the project, and then we went to closing at the end of 2007, and we all know what happened starting end of 2007, beginning of 2008, the financial crisis, and closing a single-family home was tough, let alone a condo hotel. So that was tough. That was a hard pill to swallow because we banked so much time and energy and love into the project, into our partners, and into the buyers. And the brokers, for that matter, that supported our project. Everything came to a standstill. Now, what do we do? Oh my God, what am I going to tell these buyers? What am I going to tell these brokers that are not going to get paid? How do we handle this situation? And you know what? We came up with a very fair and equitable program that everyone walked away, in a good negotiation. I think most of the time everyone walks away losing a little, and they understand that. Not everyone's a winner all the time. And that was tough, but what do? We got back up, and I had to reinvent myself, and I had to get out of development sales, and I had to transition into general real estate, which I knew nothing about at the time.
That's quite a pivot. With the growth of One Sotheby's up and down the Florida coast now, how do you differentiate between what will ultimately be, you believe, a great agent versus, let's call it, a subpar agent? How do you begin to evaluate, especially with younger people trying to get into the business? It's been said over and over that getting access to a real estate license is a very low bar. Doing well is a very high bar. But how do you differentiate? How do you really begin to assess possible talent?
It's a great question, and it's not it's not a perfect science, but tenacity, willingness, understanding that it's going to take some time to break into this industry, having a buffer to really learn your profession, understand the dynamics of your profession, um, having the hunger to put in the work too, because nothing comes easy. And do people get lucky in our industry and have a friend or a family member that ends up buying a $5 or $10 million condo pre-construction as their first deal? Sure, it happens, but that's not the normal story, right? We all have to work. We all have to pay attention. But being a person of value, how can I add value to everyone else? How do you add value to your customers, to your buyer or seller? How can I make them feel good about the biggest sale of their life, the biggest purchase of their life? Um, what information can I give them? Are they selling for the right price? Are they buying for the right price? Are they buying in the right area? And knowing all these things takes time. So being a master at your craft, really, really honing in on your craft, learning as much as you can about it, absorbing from people that are doing it every day and good people that are doing it every day is crucial as well. And that's where it comes in, that you should be part of a great group. You should look for people that are better than you and always surround yourself with people that are doing better and people that you want to learn from and absorb the information from.
Good answer. Let me ask you, I would be remiss if I didn't, with given all your experience and all your deals in and out of a company such as One Sotheby's, for a juicy story or some anecdotal thing, event that happened that was just crazy. Even, the hair on the back of your neck stood up, or you just could not believe what was going on in terms of a transaction. Um, Give us a little something like that.
Being on site in development sales, we all have models. At one point, we all have trailers that are showing the floor plan, and we all had the days of great parties at these developments. And
Yeah.
I've went to close a sales center, and there's people doing things in the rooms that they think are actually their rooms. Um, in sales trailers, which is pretty funny. But there's a couple stories of those. Um, Nothing surprises me anymore, Len. I've seen it all. I deal with the best agents in the industry and famous clients and brokers that are really at the top of their game. And the stories I hear and what they go through on a daily basis is pretty incredible. Every day is a treasure, and every day is fun. So it's different. And that's why I love this industry so much. And that's why I love the profession so much, because there's no 2 days that are alike. And we get to serve people, and I get to go around and visit open houses, some of these magnificent homes or new developments, and be around great people and hear great stories.
Let me wrap up with the following question. Take a look or think back on the advice you would give Seth Kaufman 30 years ago. What would you tell him that you maybe wish you could have heard then, but you're kind of reflecting on it now? Take us back 30 years, and what would you be saying to this young, ambitious, very smart guy?
I would probably say, in addition to learning as much as you can about your craft, learn as much as you can about yourself, and focus on skills that are going to help you communicate better. They're going to help you negotiate better. That are going to help you be a person of more value. I wish someone told me, and I say it all the time to our agents, learn to be a better communicator, learn to be a better negotiator. These are skills that are going to propel your career to the next level. If you can get in front of a large group of people and speak about a development or host a party or be the life of the party, communicate one-on-one, meet people, small talk. A lot of us are scared of speaking, whether that's to large groups or individually to people we really don't know that well, right? So understanding how to do that better, because the lifeline and the blood of this business is connection. And if you can be the ultimate connector, if you can be a person of influence, if you can be a person that knows how to communicate, the industry is yours for the taking. There's no doubt. So learn about yourself, learn your weaknesses, brush up on those skills, learn how to talk to people, learn how to start a conversation. Make sure you're really understanding world events, what's happening in sports, because you never know when those conversations are going to come in handy to segue you from a sports conversation to a real estate conversation. So
Yeah.
it's being a master at yourself and being open to failing. You're going to fail. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and I think that as it's been said and understood, our failures, we remember our failures and take those lessons with us. Interestingly enough, much further in our lives than our successes. They teach us, obviously. If how would you best describe, or how would you share what tactical um, uh, how would you how would you share the idea of being a person of value and how that relates to, let's say, a new agent, how you would kind of lead them into the understanding of that, because becoming a person of value is a pretty broad topic, and it touches so many different components of our lives. But how would you specifically think that needs to represent itself in the real estate business?
It, you know, on a personal level, Lynn, before real estate, before showing somebody that what they can afford in a home, or showing someone the condos in Sunny Isles Beach and what you think they would go for, you first have to make a connection with somebody. So being a person of value doesn't have to mean that you have to know everything about the Aston Martin building or Bentley or Turnberry, right? Being a person of value simply means that you care about the individual you're talking to at the moment by paying attention, asking the right questions, showing them that you genuinely care first is going to bridge that gap to start you building a connection where they're going to know you, they're going to like you, they're going to trust you. And then you can take the next step in that of showing them the value you offer them as a real estate professional. So starting on the personal level is crucial, and building the connection with that individual is by far the most important thing. For example, if you're with somebody and you meet them for the first time, and in passing they tell you their son is a world-class hockey player, a junior hockey player, right? And you make a mental note of that. And then you leave that meeting, and then you send them an email on hockey tournaments that are happening locally,
Okay. Yeah.
or send them a handwritten card with tickets to the Panther game, and say, that conversation really struck me because my son used to play hockey growing up, or I admire hockey players so much because what they go through. I just wanted to send you 2 tickets because I know how much your son loves hockey. Showing them that you care, that you genuinely care about them as an individual and their situation or their family resonates with people, and it's going to pay you back tenfold. That's, to me, that's adding value. Start there. Start on a personal level, because everybody has these interactions on a daily basis. Doesn't matter if it's me and you right now. I'm thinking about how I can add value to Len. I want everyone in the industry to get on Dash. I want everyone, because I think it's a huge benefit. I really do. So I'm thinking about how I can add value to Len. Everyone I meet, I think about, how can I help this person? What can I do to help this person in their career? What can I do
I know
to
that
help
you,
this person?
Seth, I know that you gave a shout out to Daniel and to my, in terms of the kind of company they've built, but they should be as complimentary of you. You are one of the really terrific individuals in this business, and the fact that you have been so successful should not be a mystery to anybody. You are just a great communicator and a person of value. I can't, again, thank you so much for being on Dashes.
I'm going to leave, Delenn, I'm going to leave you with this, and which is one of my favorite quotes. Um, People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is something we should all be thinking about constantly when we're working with clients, right?
Thank you, Seth. I really genuinely appreciate your time.